Now we're going to get into our next story. So we got Dwight Howard, the NBA star. So I don't normally hear too much about him, but he did pop onto my radar last year. I believe there was a lawsuit that was filed by a gentleman who said that he went to Dwight Howard's house and he had agreed to meet Dwight Howard there, and they were going to hang out or whatever it was. And then he had a third person there, and that was not a part of the understanding that this person had with Dwight of what was going to go on. And allegedly some things took place that this person was not with, and he sued Dwight Howard for it. And then there started to be questions about whether or not Dwight Howard is into Dwight's or not, if he is into women as a cover for that, and that he really prefers something else but doesn't feel comfortable coming out. I think that lawsuit ended up getting dropped, and kind of the chatter about that died down. I think it's his personal decision whether or not he wants to disclose that. I'm not sure where he may what he may identify as or not. All I know is that he has publicly been identified to women, so as far as I know, he must consider himself straight, so that's what I'm going to go with. But that is part of the controversy of how he kind of came onto my radar, because I'm not that huge into the NBA, but I do know he was a popular NBA star at one time. And the only other time I really ever heard him discussed was when Basketball Wives at first came out, and Royce Reed was on there, and she had a child with him. And I believe he had an NDA on her where she couldn't really talk, or the son couldn't be on there, or she couldn't talk about him. So he had a real tight NDA on that because he didn't want to be discussed at all. He's a very private person, apparently. But Royce has come out and talked about her experience with him, and she pretty much had nothing nice to say about him. She pretty much said he was a nightmare. I don't think, maybe outside of the beginning part when they first met, she had really much of kind attributes that she really gave to him. So apparently he's got kind of anger issues. Allegedly things occurred between them where he may or may not have touched her. So she definitely expressed her opinion about him last year, and that was around the time that Amber Howard, his wife, started coming out and they were dating. And so I guess she was kind of, I think Roy said that she called her crazy, like she wasn't fully taking her seriously, or saying that like she was just trying to use Dwight, and that she was just trying to pretty much get her name out there off of him. And next thing you know, I saw a video come across my feed, I think it maybe over this weekend or a few days ago. Amber was on live crying about things that have been going on in this relationship with Dwight, and a lot of it was echoed from Royce early on when people were kind of dismissive towards her, and she rightfully said it's because I was the first. And that usually happens when you're the first. If people don't really attribute certain things to somebody and you come out and say something to the contrary of how somebody knows them, people are not always going to be open to that. But as soon as there's kind of a pattern and you start to hear it from different people, then you go, oh, maybe there's some truth to it. And she was crying pretty hard on this live, talking about things are getting pretty scary, and that he is apparently having a problem with addiction, that he is into substances, and that she feels she's losing her marriage to that, and that he needs help. And she seemed like she was really hurt. She was very emotional. I can't tell if it was genuine or not, but from my perspective, it looked like she, felt deeply about what she was talking about, and she was being very honest about saying he has an issue. It's not the first time I heard it. And she was saying, I live with this man I know, and I believe it, because when you are with somebody who does have a problem like that, you do see more than people who just see them casually. So you're definitely going to have a different perspective of how much they use something or their dependency on it. Let's get into these details, because their relationship looks like it's pretty much on the outs. So initially, within a few months of them getting married, she was filing for divorce, which nobody was really surprised because a lot of people said, hey, he seems like this isn't going to be a good idea, and tried to warn her, but she still moved forward. Even Royce came out and gave a whole live talking about their relationship, and she still moved forward. You can say she pretty much ignored all the warnings that people had put out there. But when you're in love, you see what you want to see, and that happens to all of us. Everybody's got a story about somebody that we didn't listen to, friends and family who saw something we didn't see, and sometimes you got to learn the hard way, and this might just be her story. But she moved along with the relationship, and they ended up getting married, and they are still married right now, but he has gone on ahead and filed for divorce after she went on live spilling the tea, putting his business all out there. So we're going to get into this story here as being reported by TMZ, and it is ever evolving, that is for sure. So we're going to get into Dwight filing for, it looks like he filed for divorce first, although she went on to live to talk about pretty much how bad things have gotten with their relationship, and her stepdaughter allegedly was taken away by CPS recently as well after they came to the home. So I don't know what's going on there, but the way she made it sound, it did not sound good. Give me a minute here and take a quick drink of water, then we're going to get into the story. All right, so this is from TMZ. Dwight Howard files for divorce after wife's shocking allegations or accusations. Former NBA star Dwight Howard filed for divorce from his wife Amber Howard hours after she made bombshell accusations against him online, TMZ has learned. According to the court docs obtained by TMZ, Dwight filed for divorce on Monday morning. He listed the date of marriage as January 11th, 2025. So they've been married about a year. At this point, a little over a year, but said they are not separated with no hope of reconciliation. Dwight said the marriage was irretrievably broken. He noted that they had no children. The NBA star demanded exclusive use of his Georgia mansion, so that sounds to me like he wants her to leave and he wants to be the only one living there. So I don't know if she has a backup place to stay, but sounding like he wants to separate. The divorce filing comes a couple days after Amy, who is merely known as Amy Luciani, made shocking claims against Dwight in an Instagram video. She claims CPS Child Protective Services had taken his daughter. We have not confirmed if there's anything to Amber's claim. Reached out to Dwight's camp, no word back yet, which doesn't surprise me because he's pretty private, so I doubt he would really say too much. Says Dwight and Amber have quite the rocky romance. The NBA star's ex filed for divorce in July 2025 after 6 months of marriage, but called it off months later, which she says she called it off because people told her, you can't leave him, you said for better or for worse, that's your husband, it's too soon, it's just a couple months in. So according to her, she stayed because people told her you can't leave your husband, it's too early on. Now I've heard both sides. I've heard some people having sympathy for her, and if he truly does have an addiction, which I do not know, and as far as I'm aware, he has not publicly admitted to one, but if he truly does have an addiction, it is challenging living with a person who has an addiction, especially when you don't. They have mood swings, they go through different things, and it definitely impacts your life even if you are not the person who is on it. So if that is true, my heart does go out to her because I'm sure it's something, and it's something I don't even want to experience, but I know she's probably going through some things. On the other half, you did have a lot of information about him out there. This the internet age. You could have just put his name into Google, saw a little bit about the lawsuits, saw a little bit about the stuff that's being said. You could have saw a little bit about the history that he had with Royce to kind of give you a general idea of what you were walking into. So while it is incredibly sad and you just don't want to see relationships not working out, it isn't as though that information was not available for that person to see. But I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about relationships with people who are out there in the news? Do you think you should look them up? Do a little background search before you move forward into relationships? Do you just kind of take that person for how they present themselves to you and leave it at that? Very curious to know what you think. We got another one on this couple because she has responded back to Dwight filing for divorce here. And it says, Dwight Howard's estranged wife is reporting from TMZ. I want a divorce too. He just beat me to court. Dwight Howard may have filed divorce on Monday, but TMZ has learned his estranged wife, Amber Howard, headed to the court the same day to do the exact same thing. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Amber is also filing with her attorney, but Dwight beat her to the punch and the paperwork was processed first. Despite the dueling divorce moves, we're told the estranged couple is still living together under the same roof at their marital home in Georgia for now. Dwight was in California this weekend with his son David, while Amber remained in Atlanta. This isn't their first attempt at ending the marriage. Amber filed for divorce last year, but the pair ultimately reconciled and called it off. Sources say this time is different. The split is definitive. So we'll see how things go here. It says that we first reported Gwinnett County Police were dispatched to the home 3 times in the past 2 weeks, including a self-deletion threat, a domestic incident, and a theft report. So it sounds like a lot's been going on in that home. It might be for the best that these two separate, especially physically if there's that much drama going on. Filing came just days after Amber posted a series of shocking allegations about Dwight on Instagram. And what she did do on that Instagram live, which was crazy to me, is she had a bag, and what she pulled out of that bag was not flowers, and she put it out on the camera to say, this is what I'm losing my marriage to. And I can just see the comments of like, you do realize what you're showing on the live here, and it looks pretty big too to be showing that type of potential alleged substance here. But she kind of put him on out there. I don't know if it's going to help him in the long run. Sometimes this type of way of exposing somebody may not have the results you're looking for, but if it does help Dwight end up facing that he has an issue and getting help, I truly hope it leads to that. And if they are better off not together, and it's not if being together causes you stress and to be unhappy and that much discourse in the home, it is better to separate, especially when there's children involved. It's just not worth it to have that kind of environment that makes you sick. It impacts the people around you, and that's not good for kids, not to see healthy relationships. Definitely keeping an eye out on this one. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can get our updates on this. I have no doubt it's going to be interesting.